and it's understandable.
Poor guy.
Did you see the Steve Bannon possible Nazi salute?
No.
Here,
I'm
going to link it. It's only 12 seconds long. And you can tell me if this is exactly show it with volume. If this is like everyone's put their hand in the air at one point, you know, they showed still photos of like every Democrat with an arm in the air. Mm-hmm. If it's that, or if it's an actual Nazi salute, go ahead. Like,
oh, okay.
I'm afraid I'm biased, and you can tell me what you think. I think he's knowingly leaning into it with volumes. Yeah.
That they win as we retreat, and we're not going to retreat. We're not going to surrender. We're not going to quit. Fight, fight, fight. Amen.
Cool. So it's Zach shows videos at 8 frames per minute. But it's, what did you see?
I got the gist.
But yeah, like
they brought his hand down.
It's intentional, right?
I don't know. He brought his hand down pretty quick. Maybe he realized could be bad optics. I don't know.
Kyle?
I've never done that.
Right?
Yeah, I don't wave that way.
I don't throw a straight up. I'm not going to do it, but I don't throw a straight arm. I just do it. I'm like, fuck.
It looked like a half-hearted Nazi salute. Like he didn't do the full chest thing and really lean into it.
I could see the leaning into like how it's like a thing right now, and like not like fully committing.
It's weird from him because he hates Musk, and he has this open, outward, public hatred of Musk. Wants him out of the government. Calls him all sorts of like the kinds of names that you don't say to a guy that you plan on making up with. Like he's full on like never Musker, you might even say. But then, because if he weren't that, especially if he were a Musk ally and he did that, I would view it in that scenario as this sort of cutesy leaning into it. Leave the guy alone. It's just a fucking hand gesture kind of move.
Like that priest did.
But that ain't him. That ain't what's going on here. That's a bad look. Why'd he do that? Why did he do that? He did that on
straight
purpose.
Arm.
Right?
Yeah.
Like that was straight. That might have been straighter than Musk's. Musk did it longer.
Yeah,
but that might have been more accurate form.
Like wave out kind of thing. And I didn't like that salute. that was
no.
That's not a good look. Like man.
What did he say about it?
Big Heil is what I believe. I believe it's.
Yeah. He said Sig Heil. That would answer right there.
That's that. German, so I don't know what he meant by that. No. How do we interpret this? Steve Bannon said today.
A quick Google doesn't show anything about the Nazi, him talking about it.
Yeah.
God damn it. Man, I don't like that.
They should be more.
I bet
on
this
guard
is how
for
Woody
their
feels
optics.
when he sees a blue-haired fat person saying, "We're going to resist. We're going to fight them in the street."
Right? It's like, oh, get off my team. You're kind of being like, you're not helping me.
I have an AK-46 assault rifle, and I know how to use it.
So he hates Musk.
Yeah, he rips on him on his radio show almost daily. It's not subtle or like by name he hates Musk.
Okay,
that's the major rift I would say in the Republican Party, if there is one. It isn't the fabricated one that comes from Reddit and the left that like people are regretting their choice, their eggs are expensive. And meanwhile, dudes are like, I didn't like eggs anyway. Cut it all. Fucking cut it all.
Here's how I take it. So when Biden was like this deep into his term, a lot of people were like, clear the liberals will regret it by now. And what we actually thought, if you want to paint me as liberal, is, well, I don't agree with everything, but by and large, I feel like he's on the right track. And I think that's how the Trump guys are right now. Like, do I think every single thing he did is great? No. Is he still the guy I'd vote for again? Yes. I think that's what MAGA stands.
You get a lot of like wish casting when it comes to like people desiring their opponents to be regretful immediately.
Yes.
Where they're like, oh yeah, for sure. Oh, they know for sure that Biden's a senile old man. No, they don't. They're saying he's like with it.
Not until the debate.
Not until the debate. They're like a month before the debate, like Washington Post posted, like, made some article where it's like staffers are saying they have difficulty keeping up with Biden. He's so spry, and it's like, well, yeah, it's because he's getting lost in supermarkets.
He's the only one on a bike.
Yeah, and then like with stupid stuff like this, like Musk and Bannon, like they should at least, like Bannon, 100%. Like Musk, I can see being an autist who is like doing a ridiculous salute. But Bannon, it's like he's been in the news cycle for this. He knows that even even a vague appearance of this is going to be labeled Nazi shit. And so why do that? Like why not spread did he spread his fingers at least? At least spread your fucking fingers.
There seems to be this wink. He
clicked his heels.
The whole Nazi thing.
Clicked his heels.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. And then I
was like, I need these guys to sane check me. Yeah, I've made up a term.
Because their behavior is not that of a Nazi. They're like so supplicant to Israel. Elon has Jewish kids.
So we're
like they're
with the Nazi thing, and Nazism is about a lot more than hating Jews. Though the Nazis we're familiar with just happened to hate Jews. It's not like in their like creed or anything. It was just the problem that
was a big part of it.
No, I don't think it was. I think I think it was. I think that Nazism, if you look up the exact definition, has way less to do with specifically hating Jews and way more to do with authoritarian fascism and controlling certain parts of industry and the government nationalizing things and locking down free speech, etc. But I think I think those are the core tenets of Nazism, not necessarily hating Jews. And I think that's what that's where we get this sort of weird discrepancy where it's like, wait a minute, these people love Israel but are seemingly Nazis. That's impossible. And it's like, no, it's not actually. It's very possible that there are Nazis at the Weeping Wall.
But if you spread it out that much and be like, well, it's actually about, nationalizing industries and authoritarianism and in a crushing, approach towards speech, that applies to way more than you would be calling communist Nazis.
If you look at the Jewish thing through the lens of like, we identified a group of others and then blamed all our problems on them, then it starts to fit the MAGA mold a little better. It's just Mexicans this time.
I also thought it was more
Mexicans.
It's
we're illegals, like trying to get illegals out of our
mostly Mexicans, but sure, illegals.
Just happenstance of where they're from. Like that's something I really don't see as like an honest comparison. I see where they're like, these people wanted to round up Jews and throw them in camps, and you
don't want see that we just made a camp.
I'm saying that it's absurd to say that rounding up Jewish citizens in Germany and locking them up and stealing all their assets in this, like they were German citizens too, or Polish citizens in many instances, like comparing that to a nation wanting to deport illegals who don't belong there and who siphon off of their resources, like that's absurd. Like serious countries don't allow people to break in and then take advantage of them like an economic vacation that harms their citizens. Like it's totally sane to want this problem handled. And it doesn't mean that you hate Mexicans or you hate Hondurans. We just want them to not be here. They don't belong here. The Nazis fucking hated Jews. Like they kind of blamed them for a lot. Some would say too much.
Yeah, some would say. I think that racism was a core tenet of Nazi Germany, but I think nationalism was an equal tenet, and I think it's the nationalistic part of Nazism that you see intermix with people who are very much in favor of Israel and Zionism in a lot of cases. I think that the racism is not it. I don't think they're racist. I think they're nationalists, and it's that nationalist drive that attracts them to sort of Nazi-ist ideals. Not just ideals though, but because God damn it, they keep doing salutes. They keep doing actual Nazi salutes. It's not like they're like, I don't know, Hitler had this one policy.
One thing I wish MAGA would adopt, and something I've been saying for 10 years now, is like, hey, keep in mind that someday the powers that you're giving your government will belong to the people you hate the most, right? And imagine President Hillary, right? Imagine President Hillary comes along. Then the new powers that the executive branch has to just completely get rid of all the nonpartisan people and replace them with loyalists is going to look yucky when President Hillary does the same thing, when that becomes the new transition every time. And we get rid of sort of what we're supposed to be honest actors and put in your loyalists. You know, if this is the way that it goes every time, you won't like it next time.
The Democrats have famously never utilized the same, like when you see like what the right does when they're in power versus the left never takes advantage of anything, like any power they have. They don't try to jail. They will like candidates and pull them off. Like what's just happened in the last like barely month is like nothing the Democrats would have like ever taken advantage of. They don't. They get into power and then they say, well, shit, guys, we only have 2/3 of the government or the entire government. What are we supposed to do?
Yeah. They wouldn't they wouldn't like openly try to remove an opposition guy from ballots and try to jail him for years, run knowing campaigns of false information. They wouldn't do that.